Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'll be going over all of the Blu-ray and 4K pickups that I purchased for the month of November 2023. So yeah, that being said, a lot of titles to get through in this one. This is probably going to be my last massive haul for a little while now. Did go a little bit overboard this month, but you'll see why with some of the titles I've got. And yeah, that being said, going to get straight into it with the Blu-rays. So coming up first, we have, this is a part of a sort of a TV show that I hold very dear to my heart. I absolutely love this show, but given recent events, I don't want to see any new projects with this show's name attached to it. For me, it is done now. It is dusted, given the fact that we lost one of the stars of this show earlier this year. And for me, it was really nice to see the cast back, and that is in the Friends reunion. This was a real joy for me watching this in parts, I'll say. But yeah, it was great to see the cast back. The supporting cast as well, who they got back, was just absolutely great. The opening sort of 15-17 minutes of this was just absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. But there is a big problem with this reunion, and it's James fucking Corden. He has no business being in this, in my opinion. It is like eating your favorite meal and then someone comes along and shits all over it and you have to sort of eat your way around it. It's just absolutely pointless him being there, in my opinion, and it just really was really ruined it for me. But apart from that, all the bits that he is not involved in are great, and it was really nice to see these people back together again. So yeah, that is the Friends reunion. So coming up next, we've got a horror movie from this year, I think, that I haven't actually seen yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's meant to be really interesting, and that is Cobweb. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out when I get round to it. So yeah, just haven't seen it yet. So yeah, that's Cobweb. Same again for this next one. It's not a horror film, I don't think, but yeah, it stars Jim Parsons, and that is, spoiler alert, I haven't gotten around to seeing this one yet. So yeah, heard nothing but good things and looking forward to checking it out. This next one I have checked out, and that is A Good Person with Florence Pugh, Morgan Freeman, directed by Zach Braff. I loved this film. I thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. Sort of about this girl who goes through this big tragedy and has to live with something bad that happens. And I won't say any more than that, but I just really bought into the story. Really, really enjoyed it. It's a bit of a bleak movie, but yeah, it really ticked a lot of boxes for me. I really enjoyed it. And I liked Morgan Freeman in it as well. He got me chuckling a couple of times. So yeah, that is A Good Person. Next up, we're going into some of the foreign imports that I got now, sort of movies that are next to impossible to get hold of here in the UK. At least they don't seem to have any sort of official UK release. So the first one I picked up was Bestseller with James Woods and Brian Dennehy. Really, really enjoyed this one. It was a fun sort of cop drama. I thought the two leads had great chemistry. Really, really enjoyed this film. But what I will say is, if you are after this movie, do not buy this edition. I managed to get a replacement for it, but I just prefer this cover. But yeah, I did get a replacement for it because this edition comes with no English audio whatsoever, even though it's advertised as it does. It comes with a little bit of paper to say that it definitely does have English audio. Put the disc in, and there was absolutely zero options for English audio. Really disappointed. Not even subtitles, but I wasn't going to watch the movie like that anyway. So I did manage to get replacement discs, but I just prefer this cover. So if you are after this film, stay well clear of this version. So yeah, that is Bestseller. Next up, we've got They're Playing with Fire, starring Sybil Danning. Yeah, this was a raunchy, erotic, little crime thriller from the 80s that I just really, really enjoyed. It was corny, it was cheesy, the acting was hokey, and I absolutely loved it. I ate it up and just had a ball with this film. Really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's They're Playing with Fire. Next up, we've got My Boyfriend's Back. I absolutely love this one. It was a corny, cheesy little zombie movie that I just, yeah, again, ate this one up. Absolutely loved it. Young roles in here as well from Matthew McConaughey and Philip Seymour Hoffman, which I was just really surprised to see. But yeah, a really fun movie about this guy who dies. He comes back as a zombie and tries to win the affections of this girl that he's in love with. And yeah, I just had a ball with it. It was really fun. So that is my Boyfriend's Back. Next up, we've got a horror film, a festive horror film, and that is Don't Open Till Christmas. This again was a fun one. Not great by any means, but my God, I really enjoyed the killer in this film. He was creepy as hell with that mask on. And yeah, I kind of called who it was, but yeah, it was a lot of fun nevertheless. Far from perfect, but I did enjoy it. So yeah, that is Don't Open Till Christmas. Next up, we've got a film with Uma Thurman, Kim Basinger, Richard Gere, Keith David's in this as well. I absolutely enjoyed this one. I had a blast with it, and it is Final Analysis. Yeah, what a fun film. Again, far from perfect, but I just really enjoyed the crime drama aspect to this. It was a courtroom drama as well. A few other familiar faces in this movie as well along the way, and I just thought it was super underrated. Bit of a weird ending, but 80% of this movie really worked for me. So yeah, that is Final Analysis. Next up, we've got a sci-fi movie. I think this was coming off of the Star Wars craze, and it is Battle Beyond the Stars. Yeah, one of these, again, hokey, corny, cheap-looking sci-fi movies, but again, I really had a ball with this one. Really enjoyed it for what it was. I thought the set designs in it were pretty good. The makeup in it was, I thought, was decent for the time. And yeah, I just enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Battle Beyond the Stars. Next up, we've got a movie with Sam Elliott and Peter Weller, and that is Shakedown, and it is also known as Blue Jean Cop as well. Yeah, I absolutely love these two actors. I thought they were great in this film together. They just had such great presence on screen, and yeah, it was just a fun crime drama movie. Really enjoyed it. Again, far from perfect, but I just had a ball with this one. I love the two actors, and yeah, sign me up for this movie. I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's Shakedown. Next up, we've got a movie with Kelly Preston. I enjoyed this one. I really had fun with it, and it is Spellbinder. Yeah, this sort of follows these two guys who see this woman sort of like being harassed. They go over and try and, help the woman. They tell the guy, go home, go away, mate. This is what you want to happen is not going to happen. So they kind of end up sort of rescuing her. She goes home with one of the guys and forms a bit of a relationship with him, but nothing is as it seems with her, with Kelly Preston in this movie. It was really good. I loved the ending. I loved the way this movie finished. I just thought it was great. Everything came full circle for me, and I just had a really fun time with it. It was everything I wanted it to be. So yeah, that is Spellbinder. Coming up next, we've got a werewolf movie from the 90s, and it is Bad Moon. A lot of fun with this one as well. Really enjoyed it. Sort of puts, there's a sort of a family dynamic in this movie, and this family has a dog. The dog is the main protagonist of this movie. He is the hero. He is who we root for, which is really strange. I've never seen a sort of movie do that before. But yeah, a really awesome werewolf movie. I absolutely dug it. Really loved it. And yeah, just had a ball with this one. So yeah, that is Bad Moon. Same can't be said, I'm afraid, for this next werewolf movie, also from the 90s, and that is An American Werewolf in Paris. This was a bad movie. A bad movie. I knew it was bad going into it. I'd heard nothing but bad things about it. But there were things in it I enjoyed. I enjoyed how Paris looked in this movie. I thought Paris looked absolutely mesmerizing, especially from the top of the Eiffel Tower. I thought some of the practical effects in the movie were a lot of fun, particularly when sort of dead people in the movie come back. I thought their makeup effects looked pretty good. But yeah, the CGI is god-awful. The bungee jumping sequences in this movie, really, they were just absolutely atrocious. Yeah, it does no way hold a candle to London, and I don't think anyone would sort of disagree with me on that one. Maybe you do. That's fair enough. But yeah, for me, this was just a poor sequel, a poor movie. But again, there were things about it I did like. Yeah, just like I said, the look of Paris, some of the effects in the movie, when done practically, I enjoyed. But yeah, overall, yeah, it wasn't great, guys. It really wasn't. So yeah, that is an American Werewolf in Paris. Next up, we've got a crime movie that I really enjoyed. So this stars Ronnie Cox, James Woods, and Christopher Lloyd, and it is The Onion Fields. Onion Fields, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. You've also got Ted Danson in there as well. Yeah, this was kind of a harsh movie to watch about this. All I'll say is it's a police officer who gets murdered, and it's sort of about trying to find his killers. And the murder I thought was absolutely brutal in this film. It really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. And then sort of about the people in prison and what happens. It's harsh what goes on in there. It's just absolutely wonderful to watch in terms of its execution, but yeah, it's a harsh movie, and I just enjoyed it nonetheless. I thought it was absolutely great. The cast was phenomenal. Really enjoyed this one. I didn't enjoy the first act as much, but it really picked up for me about halfway through the second act and the third act. And oh my god, there's a character in this movie who deals with, he feels as if he has a burden on his shoulders and what he's dealing with, and it's harrowing. It's harrowing what he goes through. He's very suicidal in this movie. There's a point where he's got a gun in his mouth and his daughter's calling for him. It was just absolutely heartbreaking. But the acting in it for me was just so good. So yeah, that is The Onion Field. So coming up next, we've got a sort of an early 90s horror movie with Bill Paxton. I love this one, and it is The Vagrant. Yeah, I just thought this was a lot of fun. Really colourful movie, fun little characters in it. Again, far from perfect, but Bill Paxton absolutely killed it for me in this movie as well. The Vagrant himself, I recognised them, and I was like, is that the actor who I think it was? I won't say who it was, but yeah, turns out it was. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. Bill Paxton's great. I think everything he touches turns to gold, in my opinion. And yeah, I just had a fun time with this movie. So yeah, that is The Vagrant. Coming up next, we've got Neon Maniacs. This was a fun horror movie. Sort of takes place at this high school. It's got this great high school dynamic, and there's all of these crazy, fun, inventive, creative creatures. The bad guys of the movie. It's really hard to explain the plot. I don't actually think I got it 100% myself, but yeah, it was just a fun time of a movie. Really enjoyed this one. So yeah, that is Neon Maniacs. Next up, we've got a Stephen King adaptation, and that is Graveyard Shift. Yeah, this was a weird movie for me. If you don't like rats, stay clear of this movie. That's all I really got from this film. It was just weird. Some of the actors in this were just absolutely hamming it up, and it was just super entertaining. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Graveyard Shift. Coming up next, we've got a movie directed by Abel Ferrara, famous of, Driller Killer fame, and that is Miss 45, Angel of Vengeance. Yeah, this was a really good rape revenge thriller. It sort of follows this mute girl who gets raped twice by two different people in the same night, and she goes on this vengeful sort of rampage. And I just thought it was a really well done movie. Really creepy, really good effects for the time, in my opinion, as well. Abel Ferrara also plays the first rapist in this movie. He's just creepy as hell with that mask on. And yeah, I just thought it was a well done movie. Not for everyone, definitely not given the subject matter, but yeah, I just thought it was a well done movie. So yeah, that is Miss 45, Angel of Vengeance. Next up, we've got The Ambulance, starring Eric Roberts and James Earl Jones. Yeah, this was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It was corny, it was cheesy, but yeah, there was a lot to love about this movie. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is The Ambulance. So coming up next, we've got a horror movie with Will Wheaton, and that is The Curse. I had fun with this one. It sort of reminded me of Critters a little bit. Not in terms of the creatures, but the setting. It had this great farm setting that I really enjoyed about it. Characters not getting along. Yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. Really, really fun movie about this sort of extraterrestrial matter that comes down to this farm. And I just really had fun with this one. The guy who plays, I think, Will Wheaton's cousin in this, I've seen him in a few movies before. He's in Heaven Help Us and Christine. He was hilarious in this movie. And yeah, I just enjoyed it for what it was. So yeah, that is The Curse. Coming up next, we've got Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. Yeah, that title's a mouthful, but yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Lana Quigley's in this, obviously famous for Return of the Living Dead. And yeah, I just had fun with this movie. It sort of is about these kids who end up breaking into this mall, going to the bowling alley, and there's this little imp that they let free who's very, very mischievous, who grants them wishes, but there is a catch with each wish. And yeah, I just had fun with this movie. It was just all the 80s schlock that I wanted it to be. So yeah, that is Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama. Coming up next, these next two I haven't actually seen yet, but this next one stars Clint Howard, and it is Evil Speak. Haven't got around to watching this one yet. I believe this is a Video Nasty. I'm trying to sort of see as many Video Nasties as I can when I'm approaching it at a slower pace, and yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this one out when I get around to it. So yeah, that is Evil Speak. And next up we have Witch Trap. Haven't actually got round to watching this one yet either. If it's anything like the movie Witchboard, I did enjoy that film, so yeah, if it's anything like that, I think I'll be happy. So yeah, that is Witch Trap. And next up we've got a movie starring Treat Williams, who recently passed away as well. I enjoyed this one, but I did think it was a little bit overly long. It clocks in at nearly 3 hours, and that is Prince of the City. Again, a really, really well done, well executed crime drama, and I just enjoyed it for what it was. So yeah, that is Prince of the City. Next up, I've got another sort of American import here, and it is from Scream Factory on Blu-ray, and it is Elvirus Haunted Hills. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was okay. It was nowhere near as good as the original one, Mistress of the Dark, but I did enjoy it. I like this edition as well. I wasn't expecting this, but when I ordered it, I thought it was just going to come like this, standard Amaray with, the artwork that we know and love. But I did actually, what surprised me was it came with sort of a hard, rigid box like the Halloween movies did from Scream Factory on 4K. So the movie just went in the rigid box, and I just thought, yeah, what a way to display it. Absolutely fantastic. Wasn't expecting that at all. Yeah, so that was a nice little treat. And the movie was okay. I enjoyed Richard Bryan in this as well. And Elvira is, yeah, she's great. She's hilarious for what she does. So yeah, really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Elvira's Haunted Hills. So coming up next, I got some steelbooks imported from a company called Kosh. And yeah, I'm sort of late to the party with these ones, but nevertheless, I thought these steelbooks looked absolutely fantastic. So the first one we've got is a movie with Rutger Hauer and Mimi Rogers, and that is Wordlock. Yeah, I've seen this movie before on DVD. I really, really enjoy it. I think the first half's probably better than the second, in my opinion, but yeah, all that prison stuff, it's just, I really, really enjoy this movie. Sort of these prisoners who are paired up together, given these collars. They don't know who they're paired up with, but that is their Wordlock partner. And if they break certain rules, if they're in certain areas, the collars will explode. Not just theirs, but their Wordlock partners as well. And it's a great premise to a movie. Really, really enjoyed this one. So yeah, that is Wordlock. So coming up next, we've got Sam Raimi's Darkman, starring Liam Neeson. Yeah, great early 90s comic book superhero movie, as it were. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really, really enjoy it. Some great effects in it at the time. Great character, great villain. Really, really enjoy this one. So yeah, that is Darkman. Next up, we've got a very flawed movie, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. Angela Bassett and James Spader, Supernova. Yeah, just a fun movie, fun sci-fi movie. It went through production hell. But having said that, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's nothing to ring home about. But yeah, I just had a ball with this movie nonetheless. Far from perfect, but still enjoyable. So yeah, that is Supernova. And probably my favourite steelbook out of the ones I got from Kosh, we have Invaders from Mars. I just love the colours on this steelbook. I just think it looks absolutely amazing. Again, directed by Toe Hooper. Far from perfect, but I enjoyed it for what it was. The main sort of alien in this just reminds me of Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I just have that, you know, that's what it reminds me of. But yeah, it's a fun movie. Again, it's flawed, but there's some enjoyment definitely to be had there. So yeah, that is Invaders from Mars. So coming up next, we're going into some of these second sight releases that I got this month as well. So the first one is a movie I've seen before. I wasn't a big fan of it, if I'm honest, but I do want to give it another go. So I picked up the Blu-ray of Chopper, starring Eric Bana. I know that this movie is very much about this eccentric character who is just absolutely nuts what this guy's done and what he's been through. And yeah, I just thought, you know what, maybe it's been a long time. I think it's probably been at least 10 years since I've seen this movie, so I need to probably give it another go. So yeah, that is Chopper. And then also next from Second Sight, we have the Ginger Snaps trilogy. I've only seen the first movie. Haven't got around to watching the next two in the series yet, but I've heard that they're pretty good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I did enjoy the first movie, and yeah, just looking forward to seeing where the series goes. So yeah, that is the Ginger Snaps trilogy. Next up from 88 Films, we've got The Long Arm of the Law, Parts 1 and 2. I haven't actually gotten around to watching these two movies yet. I've just had a lot on my plate recently with movies. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking these two out when I get round to them. So yeah, I've heard good things about them. So from 88, that is The Long Arm of the Law, Parts 1 and 2. And the last Blu-ray that I picked up this month for November was a movie from a label that I thought I had all the movies from that label. There were 23 titles, but it turns out there was a 24th one. And I decided, you know what, I'll have a look on eBay. It was pricey. I went for the cheapest one I could find. And that was the VHS edition of Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage. So yeah, I now have all 24 of these. I will be doing an unboxing video for all 24 editions. When I get around to it, that'll probably be my next video. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was way too weird for me. It was just bizarre. I didn't know what the hell was going on in this film. The closing shot of Nicolas Cage was just absolutely terrifying. And yeah, I just thought it was absolutely batshit insane for what it was. Maybe I was just in the wrong sort of frame of mind for watching this one, but nevertheless, it was what it was. So yeah, that is Mandy. So yeah, those are all of the Blu-rays that I picked up. So we'll be moving into the 4Ks now. So moving in now to the 4Ks that I picked up this month, we have, kicking it off with first, a couple of newer movies to come out this year. We have Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Yeah, I was surprised to learn that this movie really underperformed at the box office, given, you know, its star draw with Tom Cruise, last year having the absolute monster hit that was Top Gun Maverick. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't think it was as good as Maverick, but I certainly think it was a solid entry into the Mission Impossible series of movies. And yeah, I just had a ball with this film. I thought the third act was incredible. The stunt work in it was great. The acting in it was great. The sequences in it were a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed this one. So yeah, that is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Next up, we've got Christopher Nolan's new movie, and that is Oppenheimer on 4K. Sadly, I didn't get a slipcover with mine, which I was really bummed out about. But yeah, I was looking forward to that. But nevertheless, this for me is probably my favourite Christopher Nolan movie. I'm not a massive Christopher Nolan fan. I'm very open about that. But yeah, this movie worked for me. Don't know what it was. I just really, really enjoyed it. I thought the runtime was very brisk, given that it was, clocking in at 3 hours. It just flew by for me. I just absolutely enjoyed it from start to finish. Cillian Murphy was great in the role, and yeah, it had an amazing supporting cast in this movie as well. Just grade A talent, and yeah, just really, really enjoyed it. Just thought it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that's my favourite Christopher Nolan movie, Oppenheimer. Next up, I picked up sort of a trilogy of movies. It's kind of like an unofficial trilogy for me. It is these three movies are a certain actor's. This is his entire filmography. These three movies. He sadly passed away at the age of 24 back in 1955, and I'm glad to see that these three movies got the 4K treatment. So we have pretty much James Dean's entire filmography. East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, all on 4K. I haven't seen the 4Ks yet. I have seen a little bit of Giant. It looks phenomenal. Truth be told, that opening sequence where it cuts to Rock Hudson on this train, Jesus Christ, it is gorgeous to look at. I haven't seen the other two yet. It's been a long time since I've seen these three movies, but I just thought I'm going to get them on 4K, see what they're like, and just enjoy them in the best way possible. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to delving into his filmography again. So, yeah, that is East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. So, yeah, coming up next, we've got some Paramount releases. I was looked forward to upgrading. So, first one we've got is John Landis's Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I have fun with this movie. It's not my favourite John Landis film, but I do enjoy it for what it is. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis in there as well. Really, really fun movie. So, yeah, that is Trading Places. Next up, we've got an amazing Christmas movie, very underrated in my opinion, by Richard Donner, starring Bill Murray, and that is Scrooged. Yeah, this is just an 80s take on the Charles Dickens novel that I just absolutely love. Bill Murray hits it out of the park in this movie with that closing monologue. It's very emotional. It's very sort of pulls on the heartstrings, and yeah, it's just a great performance from Murray. Really, really enjoy this movie. So yeah, that is Scrooged. And next up from Paramount, we've got the Best Picture winner of 1983. I haven't seen this on 4K yet, and that is Terms of Endearment. Stellar cast, great movie. Again, it is a bit of a tearjerker, but looking forward to checking out on 4K when I get round to it. So, yeah, that is Terms of Endearment. And then coming up next, we've got a couple of Studio Canal titles. So the first one we've got, starring Forrest Whitaker, is Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai, a movie by Jim Jarmusch. This is a very much an underrated movie. I really dig this movie. It reminds me very much of Luc Besson's Leon. It's a very, very sort of interesting movie. It's almost about this sort of assassin. And yeah, I just really, really enjoy this one. I just think it's absolutely great. So looking forward to checking this one out on 4K when I get around to it. And also from Studio Canal, we've got another Christmas movie. Haven't seen this on 4K yet, but I did put the 4K disc in to see what it looked like. And I've got to be honest, it looked absolutely phenomenal. The colours in this movie absolutely popped. And it is the Santa Claus. Or just Santa Claus the movie, I think it is. Yeah, this was a movie that I didn't grow up with, but it was always on round Christmas. You'd be channel hopping and you would land on this movie, and I'd always be sort of felt like I'd seen the movie but out of sequence so many times because of how many times I landed on it while I was channel hopping. Never saw it in full up until quite recently, to be honest, a few years ago. And yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. John Lithgow was great as the villain in this. And yeah, from what I've seen of the 4K so far, it looks stellar. So yeah, that is Santa Claus, the movie. So coming up next, we've got two 4K releases from Scream Factory. And the first one we've got is Night of the Demons on 4K. Yeah, haven't seen this movie in a long time. I did enjoy it the first time I watched it. I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the ending to this movie. I just thought it was great. And yeah, looking forward to seeing that 4K treatment on it that Scream Factory have done. So yeah, that is Night of the Demons. And the next one is the uncut version of My Bloody Valentine. I haven't seen the uncut version yet. I'm really looking forward to checking it out because I've heard there was a lot of gore put back into the movie. And yeah, I love my horror movies as well, so I'm really, really looking forward to checking this one out. I know this one is a very beloved horror movie, and yeah, just hopefully going to have a ball with this one as well. So yeah, that is My Bloody Valentine. Next up, we've got some special editions now. So the first two are from Studio Canal. So the first one we have is the special edition of The Deer Hunter. This is the 40th anniversary box. Bit bummed out that it doesn't come in the rigid boxes that we're used to with Studio Canal. But yeah, this is the Best Picture winner, I think, from 1978. Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken. Yeah, it's a beloved movie, but for me, I just think that wedding sequence at the start just goes on for way too long. It feels like you're actually at a wedding, just watching it, the way the runtime goes. But yeah, that second half of the movie is just absolutely phenomenal for me. Really, really enjoy this one. So yeah, that is The Deer Hunter. And also coming up from Studio Canal, we've got the special edition 4K release of The Howling by Joe Dante. Yeah, this movie I think was up with some stiff competition the year it came out with American Werewolf in London in the early 80s. I do think that is the better movie, but this one is still nothing to turn your nose up at. I do think it is you know, a great sort of horror film, starring Dee Wallace and directed by Joe Dante, as I said. Really, really fun movie. So looking forward to checking this one out on 4K as well. So yeah, that is The Howling. Next up, we've got an American import from Arrow. Sadly, this edition is only available from the US website of Arrow, and it is Harrison Ford in Witness. Yeah, this is a phenomenal movie from 1985. This is the only acting performance that Harrison Ford has given that got him nominated for an Oscar as well. He's never been nominated since, at least for, you know, in a leading role. And yeah, this is just a great movie about someone, this child from the Amish community who goes to the city, witnesses a murder, and Harrison Ford has to put him under the Witness Protection Act. He has to look after him. And yeah, it's just a great movie. Really, really enjoy this one. A lot of familiar faces in it as well. I think if you blink, you'll miss some of them. But yeah, it's just a great, great kick-ass movie. So yeah, that is Witness. And then coming up next, we've got some of the Warner Brothers special editions that I picked up this month. So the first one we've got is Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, this is a great underrated sci-fi movie from 2014. Also starring Emily Blunt. Very much as a sort of a sci-fi Groundhog Day. And yeah, I just have a blast with this one. I just think it's a great movie. So yeah, that is the 4K of Edge of Tomorrow. Next up, we've got a movie that I did pick up last month on Steelbook, and I decided I love the movie that much. I want to get the special edition Warner Brothers box set for it, and it is The Exorcist. Yeah, I just love this box set. I just think the contents of it is just absolutely great from what I've seen from other YouTubers as well. Really wanted to pick this one up. I didn't go for the Bible edition. I went for this one because the spine of this one matches all the other sort of Warner Brothers special editions that I have. And the movie is a horror classic. I absolutely love it. I just think it's I think it's an amazing movie first and a great horror movie second. I just absolutely love the movie, and seeing it on the big screen this year for its 50th birthday was absolutely phenomenal. What a treat it was in 4K as well. So glad to own it on 4K now in this really, really nice edition. So yeah, that is The Exorcist. And coming up next, to sort of accompany The Exorcist with another great horror movie in the sort of same Warner Brothers special edition treatment, we have Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Yeah, again, another horror masterpiece. Absolutely love this film. Love the setting. Love Jack Nicholson's performance in this movie. Absolutely smashes it. And yeah, just think it's a great, great movie with some absolutely phenomenal atmosphere. So yeah, that is The Shining. And the last sort of Warner Brothers special edition that I picked up this month, little underwhelmed with this one, but I knew that going into it. Training Day, starring Denzel Washington. Yeah, it's a nice addition. It's just not as good as most of the others. This is definitely one of the weaker ones with what you get in this movie. It feels very, very slapdash and last minute. But nevertheless, I do think the movie is pretty good. And yeah, Denzel Washington gives another amazing performance in this film. So yeah, that is Training Day. And the last 4K edition that I picked up this month was a very divisive set of movies. I'll definitely say that about it. And it is the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy. Comes in this nice sort of steel tin library. I love these editions. I think they're absolutely great. I think this is number 6 for me. And yeah, it's going to look great next to all the others, next to Rambo, The Matrix, Mad Max, Superman, and Jurassic Park that I have. And yeah, really looking forward to putting this on the shelf and, you know, looking at it when I get round to. So yeah, these movies themselves, like I said, are very, very divisive. Some people love certain ones, they absolutely despise the others. For me, it's a fun trilogy. I just take it for what it is. These are very late entries into the Halloween series. The only ones I really sort of love are the first 3, but these movies are fine for me. They're fine slasher movies, as long as you don't really care too much about the plot, which I know a lot of people do. Yeah, there's some weird choices in here. I absolutely understand why people don't like certain movies in this series, but for me, it's a fun trilogy I have fun with. I just can switch my brain off and go along for the ride with all 3 of them. So yeah, that is the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy. So yeah, that is it, guys. Those are all of my Blu-ray and 4K pickups for the month of November 2023. But like I said at the beginning of the video, this is probably going to be my last big haul for a while. Definitely took a lot out of me this month. I've already got some movies picked up for next month as well. So yeah, look forward to and keep an eye out for that video as well, coming at the end of December. So yeah, that being said, guys, going to leave the video there and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.